Hello everyone, I'm your host Silly Squirrel, and I am accompanied by my number 2 player, Master Rein.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
And we are Revive Me Bro Games, a gaming podcast where two best friends discuss all things cooperative gaming, multiplayer games, and tech. So yeah, man, how you doing?
Doing well tonight. Been playing a lot of a very specific game over the last few months. I'm sure everybody's aware who's been watching on stream or if you're listening. But I'm very excited to talk about it. I've got a lot of thoughts on it. And I'm super glad that all of y'all are listening tonight. So make sure to spread the word of our podcast and share this around.
We are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. You can also find us on Instagram at Reviving Bro Games and Twitter at Revive Me Bro. Oh, and we're also available on TikTok. If you like this podcast and you want to support us, please subscribe and rate our podcast. This is the best way to support our podcast, and you can also check out our YouTube page where we have all our latest streams and, of course, video versions of the pod. This is the best way to support us and spread the word. So today, we're going to be talking about a game, as Master Rein mentioned, that we've been playing for many, many months. And if you've been paying attention to our streams, we've been streaming it for many, many months. Plus, it has some of our most viewed TikTok videos are based on this game. So it's
true.
So it's no other than Apex Legends. And you know, we all know that Apex Legends you can play as a duo or as what would you call it? A trio?
Trio. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can either play as a duo or as a trio. And of course, I felt like it wouldn't be a proper review if we didn't have our R&B bro, JohnnyBoi. How's it going, JohnnyBoi?
JohnnyBoi.
Hello, everybody. Doing well. Having fun playing Apex with you guys.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you're here with us to review this game. It wouldn't be the same without you, that's for sure. And even though we do play with some of the rest of the R&B bros, I feel like JohnnyBoi here is the one with the expertise to review it.
That or addiction might be the.
Addiction.
Yeah, he's talking too much, man. That dude's gonna be an apex predator like in a month, man.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah, no. It's like expertise, addiction. It's all around the same. It's beating around the same bush, I say. But so let's introduce JohnnyBoi here. So the way we know JohnnyBoi is actually through one of the other R&B bros, Luis.
Y'all remember Luis? Shout out to Luis.
Shout out to Lise. So JohnnyBoi's been playing a lot of video games with us, including like The Forest and also Age of Empires and some other of the multiplayer games we've been playing. So he's been around since the very beginning.
He's on it.
Yeah, and we want to just thank Luis for bringing him over to the group. So JohnnyBoi, so tell us, what are some of your top 3 favorite games?
Top 3 favorite games. I'm gonna start with Halo Combat Evolved. One of the very first shooters aside from GoldenEye, but GoldenEye's a different deal. But one of the best shooters I've ever played. Started off playing it as a demo, and then I finally convinced my parents to buy me the full game. So that's one of them. And then I started my addiction with RPGs with Skyrim, thanks to Luis, of all people.
Shout out to Luis again.
Yeah, Luis got me addicted to Oblivion back when we were in high school. So yeah. I know the feeling.
Yeah. So Skyrim is one of my favorite RPG games I played. Probably at least over 1,000 hours easily.
Whew.
Over time. But again, the game's like 12 years old or 11 years old now.
Jeez, really? Oh yeah, my gosh, that's
I have it downloaded on like 3 different game systems. So there you go. And then my last one is a little obscure, but I love this game and hoping Sega ever remakes it again. Jet Set Radio Future. It came out on the original Xbox. Played that game to death until that my Xbox got the red ring of death and died.
Wow. That's definitely one of your I wish this was remastered contender, huh?
Yes, absolutely. But Sega won't bring it back.
Yeah, no. There's some of these games that I just don't understand why they just don't bring it back. Maybe they lost the code, but let's hope not. But yeah, I feel like there's definitely a fan base for that last game. So yeah, no, that's really cool. So for all our listeners, as you can tell, like JohnnyBoi has a myriad of tastes when it comes to games. As you can see by his first choice, GoldenEye. When it comes to first-person shooters, JohnnyBoi's playing it. From Destiny to GoldenEye to Apex to probably Valorant. Actually, have you played Valorant?
Not yet.
Okay, see? Probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes,
To Counter Strike with me, it's like JohnnyBoi's in. If he has a gun and he can shoot, you can bet your ass JohnnyBoi's in there. So, who better than to do this Apex Legends review than our friend here? So, without further ado,
well,
let's.
Sorry.
Oh, yes, please.
Before we get started, one thing everybody needs to remember is that this review is very much from the perspective of new players. We have not been there since day one. We have not been there since season 6. We just got started at the end of season 8. Something everybody should be aware of. That's where we're coming from. So, all you new players out there who are interested in getting into Apex, definitely listen up.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Master Rein, for that. Like, we are not experts. We have definitely sunk in many, many hours, enough to understand the game and to properly review it. And so, we're not like your level 100 or anything like that, although I think JohnnyBoi's the closest to get to 100.
We've both just
We hit that already. I kind of beat Ray to it. And I started after him.
But it's like we all play together because that's what we like to do. We like playing games with friends, and in a game like Apex Legends being free, it was very easy to get people to play it. So yeah, no, thank you for the reminder, Master Rein. So without further ado, let's proceed to the review. So first bulletin point, or first thing in our agenda. What is Apex Legends? For those of you who don't know, Apex Legends is a free-to-play hero battle royale game developed by Respawn Entertainment and published by Electronic Arts. Dun dun dun. It was released for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One in February of 2019, and later on for the Nintendo Switch in March 2021. The game supports cross-platform play. Heck yeah. And the game is set in the same science fiction universe as Respawn Entertainment's Titanfall series.
Titanfall.
So basically, if you have something that can run video games, Apex is available in it.
Yeah. It might burn your computer a little bit, but it's fun to play.
So that's Apex Legends according to Wikipedia. So let's move on to the story. What? A story in the multiplayer game?
Yeah, a story in a battle royale game? Oh my god.
What is this?
Yeah, because the Call of Duty story for the battle royale and the characters, I think maybe a couple of the characters actually had a story, like the one girl, and there was, I think, McTavish you could play. I can't remember, but that's it. But there's actually a story in Apex Legends. All the characters have backstories. They have relationships with each other. Some of them know each other. Some of them hate each other. For example, Lova and Revenant are deadly enemies apparently. So if you ever play with them on the same team, it's hilarious because every time Revenant uses Loba's black market, he's always just like, I'm not thanking you, and she's always like, you Diablo, I can't believe I'm helping you.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, so the game actually has quite a bit of lore to it, which is surprising. And for a game like this one, for it to kind of hide the lore and make you kind of dig a little bit for it with the comics and kind of thing, it's a free-to-play game, and it's literally just a battle royale. So it's like an added kind of feature that it makes it feel really good. Johnny, what are your thoughts, man?
I like the story quite a bit. It kind of gives you a background of the characters. If you have a favorite character that you like to play with, you kind of get a little backstory on them. For example, one of my favorite characters to play with, Valkyrie. It's the one I really got into. But Watson has kind of won me over with not only the way I play with her, and also like her backstory, and who she is as a character, and all around, like I feel like I'm playing with a good person type character. I don't know if any of you guys feel like that. Um,
Yeah, she definitely is a sweetheart. I feel like she's like the apex sweetheart. I feel like I don't know, like Lifeline's like a sweetheart too, but like I feel like Watson is straight up the apex sweetheart because she's got like the scar on her face too, so you can tell like she like electrified herself or whatever. She's just like all around like, and her voice is just so sweet. She's like the apex sweetheart. But I totally get what you're saying, like in that kind of like sense, in the generally good character, because then you have a character like Fuse or Revenant, who are like generally not a good guy character, and then you have the crackhead Octane. So yeah, and there's personalities to their play style and that kind of thing as well. I don't know if you thought about this, Johnny, too, but like when I was playing with Octane, like I really felt like you kind of have to feel like a not, I'm not trying to say if you have to feel like a crackhead, but you have to think in terms of just speed and going fast, and that in order to play that character good.
yeah, you definitely. So it really feels different when you play with the one character versus the other. Like no character feels the same when you're playing with them. You still have the similar mechanics, but just doesn't feel the same. And you play every character so different, and it's just kind of interesting to know a little bit of each character's backstory and how they relate to each other. For example, Watson and Crypto are friends, and Crypto and Caustic are like sort of brothers,
Sort
in a
of from the
sense.
same planet we just learned.
Because
Oh, huh.
Caustic's mother runs like an orphanage in that same planet and adopted Crypto and his sister. So that's some a little bit of the lore that you get to hear of. Yeah, Caustic is a straight up psychopath though. So if you play him, you might want to feel like that, just gassing people.
Yeah, yeah, and you kind of have to think in a psychotic way, like how can I screw people over and gas them and troll them in the best way, right? But then if you do that in a good way, I mean, you're gonna dominate as that character, which is an interesting thing. So, yeah, and so these characters, like you don't hear much of like 90% of these characters in Respawn's other game, Titanfall, as we have learned that it's in the same universe up until the later seasons, which is there's a lot of Titanfall 2 content that is being brought in. For example, your character Val, Johnny. Do you want to talk about her a little bit?
Yeah, Valkyrie is the daughter of Viper, which is one of the apex predators that you fight in Titanfall 2. For those that haven't played the game, the story in Titanfall 2 is one of my favorite stories in the shooter. Um,
It's phenomenal, yeah.
Great story, and the fact that they chose Viper's daughter to come into the game, and the history she has with Cuban Blisk, which is basically the head of the Apex Predator tournament, the Apex Legends tournament. It's pretty wild.
Yeah,
So
yeah, very
it
interesting.
goes back into the lore, of course. Which again, if there's some lore junkies out there that love lore, they'll definitely find this part of the story interesting and how it connects to the Titanfall 2.
It's like things like this make me think about like what Overwatch has been doing, for many years. The thing is, like, for me, like I never really connected really well with like Overwatch characters, and even though I did play a lot of Overwatch, like it was like, oh, okay, they're superheroes. Like I appreciated the fact that there was a story behind every of the characters. With Apex Legends, my expectation was even less. It was just like first time I booted up, it's like, oh, a bunch of like characters, that have kind of like they weren't generic, but they also weren't like entirely special at first. But then it's like you said, like the more you start playing with them and the more you hear like they all have different voices, different ways of playing. They all say different things about the guns that they're using. And it's like you start to really understand their personality, like these characters have personalities. And then all of a sudden they release these like comic books and this lore. It's not necessarily it's not necessarily like it doesn't do anything to the game, but it just enriches the experience overall, because now you can create an emotional connection to these characters. It's no longer, I just use this guy because he has gas. It's like, no, you might actually like part of his story, or you use Loa because you think not only does she look cool, but it's also because you think her story is actually really interesting.
And she's hot.
I was about to say we use her because she has a big booty, but shout out to our wives.
Side note: I was telling my wife about how I was playing Apex, and I was like, "Honey, I promise I'm not playing with the one with the big butt anymore." And she was like, "There's a character with a big butt." Anyways.
But yeah, so I just appreciate when a game like this takes the extra mile and creates lore. And just like Johnny said, some people just love that. I mean, Luis is definitely one of those people. So
yeah. I mean, I love the lore. I went digging into the Destiny lore. Like I enjoyed it. Like I like learning that kind of stuff, especially if somebody put time into it, into thinking that kind of stuff up. So. Definitely for sure. And there are speaking about the lore and speaking about things that are Apex related and that kind of thing, there's two big rumors, dude, that are really interesting. One, there's a potential Netflix show or a show in general that for the Apex characters, adding on to more of the story. And another of the lore that another addition that could be really interesting is the addition of the next character who people believe is Pariah, who is a character who has like a detection ability and also like an area of attack ability. So it's like her special like causes like the smoke to go out and damage people, and then like she has an ability that's similar to like Bloodhound that like scans people, but it's like a sonic detection tool. Anyways, we have no idea who she is yet, but you bet that that the other characters in Apex are gonna know her. Somebody's gonna know her. Rampart actually is the one who fixed up the Titan, the Viper's Titan. Rampart's the one who fixed it up for Valk, so that Valk can use it in the Apex Legends tournament. Very interesting part of the lore, and it's not something that like a lot of people would even realize unless they were watching those characters.
Yeah, and then going back to Titanfall 2 lore, Ash, on Apex Legends, she was found in the dumpster by the robot.
Pathfinder?
I don't use them that often. Pathfinder.
I had no idea.
She was found in the dumpster by Pathfinder.
I had no idea.
And then they fixed her up.
Bro.
Yeah, and then they fixed her up, and like now, like Cuban Bliss eventually found her.
No way.
Yeah.
What? Oh my god.
It's just like all these connections and dots, and if you're really interested in finding a little bit more about the lore,
dude,
there's
Ash is connected.
The stories from the Outlands videos on the Apex channel, and they're fun. They're a fun watch. They're quick, easy to watch, and kind of gets you a little introduction on each character.
What?
Whoa, we've talked enough about the story and lore. Let's go into what really matters. Haha, no, just kidding. Graphics. Listen to this, guys. When it comes to the engine of the game, like, what are some of the engines that you think Apex Legends was made with? Like, straight from your head, like, what would you think?
What's the Unreal? There's another one. It's like a really interesting one. A lot of multiplayer games have been made off of. I don't know. I feel like what's
like it looks like an Unreal
Ice.
engine.
What's the one that was made with Battlefield? Ice something engine. I can't remember that engine. The one that DICE uses.
Yeah, I believe it's called Ice.
Ice. Yeah.
Here, let me look that up real quick. Johnny, what were you gonna say?
No, I was thinking like I can't remember which game was made with the Unity engine.
Oh
my God! It's not called Ice. It's Frostbite. Yeah, Ice, totally. No, Frostbite. Yeah, no, okay. Like, it does kind of look like it would make sense. It's an EA game, right? And then, like, Johnny, you're thinking, like, Unity?
Yeah, I can't remember which game I saw.
The Forest. The Forest was made
with
Unity. That's right.
Yeah.
What did they use to make that failed? Never mind, forget about that. We're not even talking about Anthem. Let's just move on from Anthem.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Oh, God, no. Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Let's not speak of that.
Anyway, to my surprise, the engine for Apex Legends is Source, the same engine they made Half-Life 2 with and Counter-Strike.
My God.
Which is insane.
My God.
This engine is old and it looks so good.
It looks
so good.
Spectacular. It literally looks spectacular.
Yeah, it does. Like, I just got myself a new monitor and a new computer, and night and day, like, it still looked good on my old computer, but now it just looks
it's like Spider-Man
gorgeous.
taking off the glasses and being like, what? And then everything is just like an HD times 3, you know? No, but for real, I didn't think the graphics were gonna be that good. I didn't think, excuse me for talking so crazy, I didn't think my GPU was gonna work this hard, you know, when I started playing Apex. And it works hard, dude. And actually, I had to change around the Streamlet settings to actually get the game to stream well when I was ray tracing on Cyberpunk and my Streamlabs was not having this many issues. I was like,
that is fascinating.
I was like, what? But apparently people have issues with Apex and streaming. But I mean, I figured it out at this point. Thank goodness. Excuse me, hold on. I figured it out at this point. But that's still to say that, like, the game is, like, heavy. And we were playing with a character last night, with a player last night. We'll talk about it again a little bit later. He actually had to leave because his computer was a little bit, like, on fire. So the game is, you know, it's a big game.
It's heavy duty.
It's heavy duty.
Yeah. And, you know, like, I mean, it makes sense, too, because the maps are very, very detailed. And you can see players from, like, basically across the map. Like, it's the depth, the distance that you can see players and activity is really, really good. What I mean, like, the maps are very detailed, it's that, you know, you can look at a building and you know exactly what building it is. You know, you can look at, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like not a monument, but like
a landmark.
A landmark. Thank you. Like, you use a landmark from the map and you just know it. You see it. Like,
you can tell.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it's not empty either. These maps are full of stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, there's some maps that I've played that you just run and it's just boring. There's, like, nothing to see. Back in, like, I think it was Black Ops 4 that introduced Battle Royales. Yeah, Blackout. But anyway, like, that map was, like, okay. Like, while as the Apex has so much stuff going on that you can play the same map over and over and over and over and over again, and you decide to, like, land somewhere slightly different, and there's so much to see, you know, like, there's a life to these maps, and so, you know, props to the engine, honestly, and
yeah, big time.
And even though, like, it's taxing, it's like, let's talk about, like, performance. Like, how many times have you been, like, booted out of the servers?
For me, it's very few times. I can't speak for other players, and Johnny, you have to give me your opinion. But for me, it's been very few times. And my internet it's pretty good for where I am. Johnny, I don't know about you though.
For me, it's been a couple times. I think at the beginning of season 9, they had some issues.
That's true. They were having issues.
I think they're mostly fixed now. So I haven't gotten booted off there since then, but I remember the beginning of season 9, that, like, the first week or so was a little rough. I got booted out a couple times.
That makes sense because it's just released the new content and all that, so it makes sense that it would, like, crash a little bit. But like, I think
it's pretty stable.
But I think overall the experience, it's pretty smooth, I would say. Even, like, during battles, like, there's not a lot of lag. I mean, of course, lag depends on your internet connection, but so far it's been pretty solid, you know?
Yeah, I think it's been pretty good. I mean, I think it's pretty quick to jump into a game, dude. Sometimes it doesn't take that long at all to, like, hop right back into a Battle Royale game.
You know, and again, speaking about details too, like, the models for the guns are very unique, varied, and you can spot if you see the gun on the floor, you'll know exactly what gun you're picking up, you know. And I know that this is maybe not something that a lot of people would think about, like, when you play, like, again, like a Call of Duty or Fortnite, that, oh, there's an SMG, there's a this. We're dealing with futuristic guns, quote unquote futuristic. So, like, there's a specific look to all of these. And actually, some of these guns are based off Titanfall models.
Some of them actually are the Titanfall guns, like the Wingman
Yeah.
or the L-Star.
Yeah, and so they
The
just feel
Mozambique.
great, and they look great. So graphics overall, it's a beauty, definitely a beauty. So moving on, let's go into the meat of this whole review, the mechanics and tactics of the game. So the actual gameplay of the
Yes,
game.
yes. And all you new
Uh,
players out there, this is like definitely like probably what you're like trying to listen to. There's a learning curve to the whole game, but like just listen up. Like once you get past it, you get to this place where you feel really good.
yeah. Master Ren, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. So, the first thing that as new players into the game that we really needed to figure out first, what we were doing was managing our ammo types. Like it was really confusing. Like not sorry, it's not confusing. It was too daunting to hold four different ammo types in a white backpack when we were only using one, but we thought we had to hold the ammo for later in the game or whatever it may be, and we're not holding enough space for space management and that kind of thing. But you quickly kind of learn on into the game, or rather, you quickly learn that ammo management, and you kind of realize what you need throughout the game. And thankfully, the game does make it pretty easy for you to realize like what ammo your gun needs. I mean, it took us very long to realize, oh, okay, green is for these heavier weapons, but there are some challenges though when it comes to the ammo. Johnny, like what are some of the challenges like you've had with like ammo management and just kind of like working around ammo itself?
One thing I would say the RNG aspect of it, of where you drop and sometimes like you'll get to an area there's a gun but there might not be a lot of ammo for that gun, so you might have to say maybe I have to switch weapons for a little while, or should I keep this and maybe I find ammo on the way. It's a gamble, and sometimes it doesn't pay off because you'll run out and then get into a fight, and then again you don't have ammo for that gun that you decided to keep with only uh, one stack of ammo for. So
Yeah,
it's
that's a big
Yeah,
issue.
no, it's. I think in the very beginning, I would try to grab as many ammo as I could, just as Master Rain would say. And even though maybe some of the ammo I didn't need, I knew like maybe like down the line I might find the gun that I want that has this ammo. But I think at first it's like you grab the ammo and it's not immediately obvious what ammo goes with what gun. And I know there's people saying like, "Oh my God, but the gun and the ammo have the same color." Like, yes, I get that, but at the very beginning, you don't necessarily see that. You know, it takes a bit, yeah. And especially with like the colors, like for example, snipers are purple, right? Then there's the energy weapons, which are green, and then you have like the normal rounds, which are like a brown burgundy color, and then the shotguns are red. And so it takes a little bit, but then once you get like the hang of it, then like why keep sniper ammo if you have a shotgun and an SMG,
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
it's yeah, it's really finding about like the right balance and what guns you're good at, but it's a system. It's a
Yeah.
system that you have to get used to.
Exactly, because you'll find probably like a lot of games that like maybe you wanted to find a sniper and you literally never saw a sniper once in the game, but you held all the sniper ammo and for what? Like you never found it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the game punishes you for being a hoarder.
yeah. Sometimes
It's
I've
like
like kept some light ammo, thinking that oh maybe I'll find a 301. Never run across a 301, so I kind of
and
just
you
wasted
probably
space.
died. Yeah, you probably died and then you started over and guess what? You probably
Landed on a
just
301.
yeah.
Exactly, you land on the you land on the 301 next time. Exactly.
Yeah, but besides ammo, the other thing that you need to keep a lookout is the guns and the armor. And the way these work is also through a color system. So I know it's like, oh boy, more colors. Thankfully, if you've been playing any game since Destiny or anything with like loot
Yep.
boxes, you're kind of at home
Yeah, you'll
here.
be fine.
Purple is rare. Your blues and your reds and your golds and stuff like that. But it's mostly for the armor. Like the guns don't necessarily have. So like the gun is the gun. It's not a purple gun or anything like that. There are some red guns. If you find a red gun, consider yourself lucky, because those are like ultra rare. But every other gun is just normal. What makes the gun special though is the attachments, and the attachments have colors. So it's like you will find a lot of times like maybe like for a sight that is a blue sight, but then you'll also find another that's a purple sight, and you'll find a mag extension that is purple, and some of these don't even fit all the weapons too. It's like they're very specific to a certain type of weapon.
I made that mistake at the beginning too.
Oh my, yeah, that you would like, purple, you'd grab it thinking you can use it, and then you find out you can't. You know?
You picked up the purple heavy. You're using a light machine gun. Sorry.
Exactly.
The light gun.
Yeah, and so but the game doesn't necessarily tell you. Like you look at if you look at the inventory, then you'll see that it's like you don't have anything. There would be like a little like. You're going to have like a little icon that will tell you if you have anything that it can be used to attach, the attachment. But again, when you start the game, man, you're just like, purple, yes! When you go for it, and it's like, you don't really need that piece.
Yeah.
But now you wasted space. So.
Yeah. One tip that I didn't know about is that if you look at an item, it'll actually tell you if one of your teammates needs it, and you can ping it for them. I didn't know that until I saw that on a YouTube video. Exactly. It's one of those things that, like, tactically speaking, you don't have to communicate with your teammate and be like, bro, sight here, take the sight. You can just ping it, because you'll realize the game will actually tell you when your teammates needs this, go ahead and ping it for them. Very, very nice. You know?
Oh my God, Johnny, did you know that?
No, that's news to me.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. What the heck?
So it's at the top right when you look at the item. It's like next to the ping icon, like what button it tells you for the ping, and it'll have like a little symbol of like a man with this little arm up, I think, and that means that one of your teammates can use that. Go ahead and ping it. Like it means you should ping it, is what that means.
Oh.
So like, especially if your teammate's using like, let's say like sniper ammo, and you don't have any, and you're obviously not using sniper ammo. If you look at it, I mean, you can tell that somebody in your team is using a sniper, because it'll tell you that it'll give you the notification that you should ping it. Very interesting mechanic. Very interesting, definitely tactically speaking, because again, you don't have to be all loud, being like, things here. Your character already has a recorded model to actually say it themselves.
Wow.
Very interesting. Now, I want to talk about the armors a little bit. So we talked about the guns, we talked about the ammo extensions and extensions and that kind of thing. If your aim is gnarly and you're able to get a lot of hits, here's the important thing about the armor. You're going to be dominating. This is something that we didn't learn until later on, and it's something that Johnny and I have been trying to tactically do something differently. Johnny, do you want to talk about the armor? Because I think you know what I'm trying to talk about.
Yeah, so on the armor, you start off, like now in Season 9, you start off with a white armor. Before, you had to find yourself a white armor, because you start off basically naked in Season 8.
You started naked last time.
Yeah. Now in Season 9, you start out with a white Evo shield. So it'll have like at the bottom left corner, above like your ammo, it'll like show your shield, and it'll have like a damage number. If you hit that damage number with that armor, you'll level it up to the next level, which is blue. Same thing with the blue, you can level it up to purple after getting enough damage on people, and finally red. So it kind of rewards an aggressive play style with those armors. However, you also have the gold armor, which doesn't evolve.
Yeah.
It stays gold, so don't expect it to turn into a red Evo shield later on. But it does have the effect that you can use like a small recharge cell, and it charges more. So advantages there.
Yeah, and that's a huge. That's kind of a big advantage if like somebody like a lifeline can have that kind of thing. For example, now the red shields. This is one of those, tactically speaking, one of those things that you need to know about in the game, and that's if you see that 10 teams have died very quickly. And the span of like the first round, the first round of the game, you can pretty much guarantee yourself that there's a team that has made the red shield at that point. And you want to be careful, because going against a red shield with a blue shield is not in your favor. So it's one of those things where if you as you play the game, you have to kind of get beat up by it. You have to get stomped on by a red team while you have a blue shield. But you'll at some point realize, like, okay, I gotta stay out of the battle. I gotta, fight back a little bit more. I gotta be more careful with my battle if they have the blue shield and they have red. Even if you have the purple shield and they have the red shield, the red shield still has an extra slot of energy on it, so you're at a disadvantage. But that doesn't mean that they're going to always beat you, that a blue always beats a red. That is not what we're trying to say here, because there are certain things that you can do in a game and that you can learn as a player that will let you melt red shields as any shield, dude. You can do it as any shield. Maybe not white, because a white is a little bit low. But as a blue shield, you can totally destroy a red shield and come out victorious in a battle. And it's something that, again, Johnny and I are trying to get good at, and that is specifically our gunplay and our movement and our aiming in the battle. So depending on what kind of gun we're using, how we're going to use that gun, depending on how close range or far range or whatever, and all that kind of stuff. If you're anybody who's played like a battle royale game, you've seen people like do stunts and slide jump and all these crazy things, right? It is a thing that, like, if you're dodging around in the game, you are going to be a little bit more you're going to be harder to hit. In a game like Call of Duty, that's very obviously sweaty. If you see somebody who's wearing a full thing of armor just bounce around the wall, slide and jump and all these things, like, it's obviously a sweaty player. Just grenade them and get out, right? But with Apex, that's not the case. And Apex kind of forces you, or rather encourages you, to play with a more movement-based tactic mentality. Do you want to kind of go off on that a little bit more, Johnny, kind of what you learned?
So one thing that I learned first playing the game, first time I jumped on, like, it took me 3 days to get a kill. And the reason is because I was not moving enough. Basically, in this game, punishes you for not moving.
Yeah.
So you will die and you likely won't get kills if you do not move. So that's my experience with that movement side of the gunplay. Like, you will. There's definitely a learning curve when it comes to movement in this.
100%.
But once you get some of it down, you'll start seeing some results.
100%. Go ahead.
Speaking of which, even with sniping, I find that to be very true. Like,
yes.
Whenever I'm using the sniper, like, every time I shoot, I move a little bit.
Listen up, new players. Listen up.
Like, I keep shooting. Like, I know. So every time I have to adjust my aim, I know, but it's like I have to keep moving, because it's like people can nail you from across the far distances. So it's like, you think like you can just like wait and snipe and just like wait. It's like, nah, man. Like, this game, everyone moves so quick. The moment you shoot and they know your position, you have like
10 seconds.
Not even. You got like 5 seconds to like move before they start getting on your ass.
Yeah.
I know there's like exceptions to the rule, right? When there's 2 teams battling it out and you're like just scoping them, kind of playing a third wheel. But if you're attacking and they find you, like, you don't have that much time. You either have to have your teammates move in and you do suppressing fire, or you just move. Like, Johnny's absolutely right. This is not the game to like wait and camp. Think of Quake. If you ever played Quake, think of Doom. If you played Doom, like, if the moment you stop, you die. And this is the type of game that the moment you stop, you're dead.
Exactly. Now, okay. So it's a very important thing that we're saying here, and it goes exactly for long range and short range. When you stop and you're not moving and you're not positioning well, you're going to die. If you're a character like, let's say, Watson, Caustic, Bloodhound, potentially Wraith as well, potentially, Let's see, what's another kind of like zoned kind of character? But there's characters that hold zones like very well.
Yeah.
They hold the zones. Like Caustic has this gas that if a character comes in, they get slowed by it and they get hurt. The exact same thing with Watson. Bro, I've walked corners and then all of a sudden this fence comes up and I can't get out of the room. The gas goes off and I'm like, what's going on? And I just get murdered from all sides. And because I couldn't move, because like everything was hurting me and it just melt me down. Those tactics are insane, and that is a tactic. Oh, Rampart's the other one that holds the zones very well because she has walls. Those kind of tactics that hold zones and that kind of thing, you can hold one zone and stay there for a long time, because your character is a little bit more set up for that. And it's this goes to say that the game is, in my opinion, pretty well balanced. I don't know what you guys' thoughts are on that, on the whole game balancing and the whole like Watson thing, because I know you, Johnny, you love Watson.
Yeah. I think I play her more aggressively, but I kind of use her as a safety net to slow down some of these like maniac rushers.
Yeah, like how exactly do you do that?
Octane, Revenant. Because when you block the door, it kind of forces them to decide whether they want to get hit by the electric fence or not, and potentially die. Because once you go through the electric fence, it not only does cause a little bit of damage, it slows you down. So it gives that advantage to the person inside the building to just blast you. Because you're not, like as an Octane, your advantage is speed, but you lose that as soon as you hit the fence. So I've melted plenty of Octanes by them just going through my fence. That because they gave me the advantage. So yeah, if zoning characters do help, and it also gives you time to heal, is for one, because they might not go through the fence at that point. Same thing with Caustic, it'll kind of push people away because they don't want that take damage. They might be low. Again, giving you time to heal and survive a little longer in fights. It slows down the game a little bit, which is nice.
Excuse me. Speaking of like who to use and stuff like that, do you feel like the game requires you to have a balanced team, or do you feel like you can play with whoever you want? Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Because I think Master Rein mentioned like a lot of the characters do have different abilities, so one would think that you want certain characters together because they might complement each other. So, what do you guys think in regards to that?
Go ahead, Johnny. You go first.
Certainly, characters do complement each other, like Bangalore and Bloodhound. Like if you're playing duos, you can smoke the area up with Bloodhound and with Bangalore, and then still be able to see the enemy with Bloodhound. Which again, any advantage in this game is good. So team makeup, if you have like a Caustic and Watson, you can lock down any area from anybody. So if like you're basically the last team left, and then the last circle is in one building, you can lock down that building and then win because the other team's getting burned by the wall, So it depends on what your strategy is. So you can go with a full rush team and then just move fast and rush everybody. You can make a team makeup of that, or zoning. It just depends on what the strengths of the players that you play with are and what characters they like. But you can certainly win with the character you like. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just if you have a team makeup that gives you an advantage, it you're more likely to win and be more successful.
Exactly. So there are like certain strategies, and there's probably strategies people haven't even come up with yet for the game. But if you're somebody, for example, and this is not a new player, so new players don't do this. But if you're somebody who is very experienced in the game, you can pretty much play with anybody because you know what the other one or two team members of your team are going to be like. If you're an Octane and you're playing with a lifeline, you obviously want to keep your lifeline alive, right? If you're playing with a Wraith and you're a Pathfinder, you want to let that Wraith rush first because she can phase out. Then you Pathfinder in to take people off, right? To take people out. I mean, so so there's very interesting makeups that you can have, or if you're a wraith and a lifeline, again you can kind of do this more similar thing, but play a bit more safe to where you keep your lifeline alive. There's all sorts of team makeups with the game, which is super awesome, honestly. You never like get into a game where just like, oh, this person is whatever this character. I mean, there are certain characters like Fuse, for example. I'm not saying the character sucks, but he's not really used by a lot of people, and he needs to be buffed in a lot of people's opinions. However, there are people who use Fuse and are phenomenal with the character. They know exactly how to use him, and they can play well with anybody because it's the game essentially does have like one mission. It is to win the battle royale. So if you have that mentality in mind and you know the flow of the game, that then you can do well, in my opinion, with any team makeup. But don't, as a noob, it's probably going to be best to start learning the characters, start figuring out who does what, so that way when you see characters in battle and see certain teammates play certain characters, you know what to do. And then on top of it all, if you see a certain team makeup, you know exactly how they're going to fight, for that
Yeah.
example. So
There's been a lot of times where, like you said, like sometimes a team, like you can tell immediately that they overly rely on like a lifeline, and so you immediately go for the lifeline, and the moment you kill that teammate, the other team just dismantles. It's happened many times. Not to say that lifeline, you should always go for a lifeline, but it's like a lot of times certain teams, and you'll start seeing patterns the more you play. Like certain teams tend to play a certain way, and it's like if you see them with like a Valkyrie, you kind of understand that they'll try to like flank you or go around you because they have the air, or even we've done it where it's like, oh, you want to just go kamikaze on them? Like, yeah, sure, So, we just like, especially when we're playing arenas, which we will get to in soon, but like, just go like balls to the wall straight at them, and sometimes that tactic works because we have a character that allows us to play like that. So yes, it's stuff to keep in mind whenever you like fight a team. Like if you can tell and you can communicate immediately, I see a revenant of this and of that, then you can immediately create a better understanding of how to attack that team. And we're talking about seconds here, right? Like boom, 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 boom. But the more you learn how to communicate this like little pieces of information to your teammates, the better you're gonna get.
very much, exactly. And before we get into arenas, there's one more thing that's exactly right, that we have to mention, and it's information based, obviously, and that's what goes on at the beginning, in the middle, and in the end game of the battle royales. You have to kind of think about them a little bit differently as the game progresses. There's tactics that you can use throughout different parts of the game, but all depending on the kind of armor that you have, the kind of weapons that you have, and what point in the match that you're in is all going to depend on the tactic that you're using. So Johnny, do you want to talk a little bit about like the tactic that we've been trying to use that kind of works the best for us, that we think?
Yeah, one of the tactics that I think that we've done the most and it's actually gotten us results in wins in the battle royale mode would be is either landing close to a team and fighting it out with them and getting blue shields that way from the very get go, um, and then rotating out immediately. You don't want to stick around too long to loot because you will
You will
die.
die. Yep.
There's this game is notorious for third parties and even fourth and fifth parties. So you want to keep rotating as much as possible. If a fight's lasting too long, your people are gonna hear the gunshots and come your way.
Exactly.
So we usually try to get out of there. If we manage to kill a team, just get the stuff we need and get out. Don't try to loot too much. Middle game, we're one of those guys. We're gonna hunt for third parties. So if we hear a shooting and the team, fighting stays too long, we're gonna clean up and get our purples that way. And then end game, if you have recon characters, which always helps, you can find out where the circle is gonna be uh, every time, and then start rotating into the circles. You want to try to get to the last circle early, and hopefully maybe catch somebody off guard running away from the ring. clean them up that way. That's usually what Skylanders wins. Early fights, fights in the middle to get the purples, the last fights at the end. Usually, you want to get into a fight where somebody's just like finished, or it's just you and the last team going, and then you're fighting it out.
Yeah, exactly. It's our wins have definitely come from a couple matches where we just lose at the beginning because we die in dumb ways, and then we figure out, okay, we're gonna drop here, we're gonna do this, we're gonna rotate here, and then we're gonna fight again. And when we have our tactic in mind, we do very, very, very well in those matches. And on top of that, we have to be very extremely mindful of what kind of gun you have and the armor. Because again, if you have purple armor at the very beginning and you have for some reason a really good gun already, you better rotate hella fast after you fight that first team and go kill the next one so you can get your red shield as soon as you can. Because once you got the red shield, go kill as many as you can and then go wait in the last area and you're gonna win. But that's the battle royale part, and believe it or not, we're not the best at the battle royale part. We're actually like phenomenal. Well, let me read it. We're not phenomenal, but we are pretty freaking raw at the arenas mode. I think we are. I think we're do really well when it comes to the ranked arena mode when that finally comes out. But I mean, I love it, Johnny. I want to hear your thoughts on arena, and then Silly, I want to hear yours.
So arena mode is mode that's starting in season 9. Definitely a great mode. It gives you practice for the fights if you want to get better at battle royale and winning the fights, because you gotta sometimes win 1v1s, or 2v1s, or even 3v1 sometimes. And arenas mode is a great mode to kind of get you into the fight and not have to worry about third party coming by and then just cleaning you up. So it's great practice if you want to practice how to get better in fights in the game. But it's completely different because it's a very aggressive game mode, and your strategy here is you can't always lock down a building. That strategy doesn't really work that well in arenas. That from what we found, it really does reward a more aggressive playstyle.
Absolutely. There are tactics again in the arenas that you can use. Like for example, Lifeline is amazing, great. You can have an Octane and Revenant to combo. Revenant drops his ultimate, and then Octane uses the jump pad, and you jump pad onto them. A lot of the battle royale tactics still apply for arenas, but they're just kind of more of like it's like more magnified, like how important those tactics actually become because you actually have to buy your things. So sorry, I want to start talking too much. Silly, I want to hear your thoughts on the arenas because you are the most Counter-Strike player here.
I think arena is a wonderful addition. When we first started playing Apex, it was really hard for me to like get into the kill time and the tactics of Apex, because I'm more of a Counter-Strike close quarters combat player. Like Apex can get close quarters, but due to the big distances, you're probably going to be doing mid to long range fights. And it was just very hard to kind of get a grip on how the guns work and how to, properly maneuver your enemies in such open spaces too, for the most part. So arena is the perfect, arena to like practice not only your 1v1s against other opponents, but to also practice like getting those like jitters whenever you like fight. I don't know about you guys, but like whenever we started fighting at Apex, like anytime we had a fight, like I didn't know how to like react.
That's a good point.
I just shoot, there they are. I would just go and shoot.
Yeah.
Well, with arena, it's like you have these like quick bouts over and over and over that you really learn how to hone into like the not only like I said like the kill time and how the guns work, but also like your composure, and how to compose yourself.
That is so
and just
true.
Get into the fight. And so, like in terms of like modes, like arena, oh my god, like I think arena just multiplies the amount of fun you can have because it's the same gameplay in terms of it's the same mechanics but different gameplay, I should say. So I mean, it's a good practice. It teaches you how to play. It's great if you just have like 10 minutes, or maybe a little less. And it's also a really, really great way to test your communication with your teammates. It's no joke that it's like if you do well with a team in arena, it'll translate to the battle
It
royale
will,
for sure.
100%. It will. It totally will.
And I'm not gonna lie, I tend to get most kills while playing arena anyway, so I'm all for arena.
I know. Yeah, I agree. I've gotten so many kills in arenas. I don't think I'm gonna get that close in battle royale right now. But what you said though about the jitters, so true, bro. Like I lost my jitters in the battle royale after playing the arenas. After playing a couple sweaty matches, it's like okay, this is what I got to do. I can't let my brain get distracted. Da 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 da. Like when we started playing that battle royale and we get into the last 5, bro, my heart was going freaking nuts, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there like, oh my god, oh my god.
Like Johnny, what about you? Like, was there anything that you got out of playing arenas?
The arenas, what I got is the getting better at the one-on-one fights, because winning your one-on-one fight will help your teammates in battle royale, because one, you're not down right away.
Yup.
But then the other team is down a person, so now your team can really push and finish off the rest of the team, and then you can heal while they're pushing, and then you can help take care of the other 2 teammates. But yeah, winning your 1v1s is one of the things that arenas has got me better at. And sometimes I go crazy and I wipe the whole team in arenas, but it depends on, like, I call myself icy hot, because one game I got 30 damage and then the next I kill the whole team. But so it depends. It's definitely a game mode that will get you better at the fights. So you'll start winning your 1v1s, you'll start winning 2v1s, 3v1s. So it just gives you a lot of good practice.
Yeah, what really took my jitters away was when I won that first clutch and I killed like the 3 in the team, like after my other 2 team members died. That for me was like a big changing point to make me feel like, oh, I got this. Oh, I can do this. I just have to concentrate a little bit more. There is a place where I'm getting surrounded and I can get wrecked. I'm wrecked. But if there's something you can do about it, even if there's a little move that you can do that's going to put you in a better position, and you can learn it, do it. It helps. It absolutely helps. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've talked enough about the mechanics and tactics. How about we go to the juicy section, if juicy at all? The bad
juice.
So, I know, the bad juju. So is there anything in this game, you guys, that you think it's, not up to what you expected, something you wish they did different? Literally the bad.
Yeah, let's see. There are. Let me start off a little bit this way. I kind of feel like Apex is aware of their bad as well, and they're really trying to fix it because for example, they added so much Titanfall content in the last season that it's really helped out the game's population a lot. But that to be said, the servers do have issues. And wasn't something that like I necessarily saw online. Sorry, I saw online for myself, but it's something that I saw a lot of people have issues with, and they still have issues where, and it's actually something that the game had to update recently, where people were dropping into the trios by themselves, and they didn't select the what's it called? There's an option to where you can drop by yourself. They'd have the fill team option selected, so they were trying to fill their teams, and they would still drop by themselves. So that's been an issue. That is something that like I don't want to have more connection issues, because it's something that I do wonder sometimes if there are connection issues happening and I just don't know about it, because like there's just sometimes that I'm shooting and I'm like, did that bullet should have hit. I'm like, that should have hit. That should have hit harder. That should have hit more. And I'm like, maybe my aim was off, but sometimes I just feel like, okay, that was a little bit weird. That looked like they went through these people. And then of course there are those enemies that like sometimes they're just bouncing around on the map, and like you just can't hit them.
Oh.
It's like it's just they're literally shooting forward. Like it's crazy.
I think Johnny knows exactly what you're talking about.
Sadly,
they're teleporting across the map.
yeah.
So bunny hopping.
No, actually teleporting because the game
Yeah, there's people actually
Oh.
teleporting and stuff around the
Yeah.
map. Yeah. And then sorry, go ahead, Silly.
One of the bad that I think this game needs is private servers. And what I mean is that not necessarily for the battle royale, it's more for the arena. Like having a way to create a game so that you and your friends can play. Like being able to create a lobby, actually. Like I understand that maybe that takes a lot more resources to do. Than just like, saying you're gonna play one mode and another and then letting the servers basically do whatever they want. But it'd be really cool that if, nowadays we all have a lot of people that it's cross platform. You have ways of playing with other people. You're not always going to be playing with the same two guys. Like JohnnyBoi and Master Rein and I are playing in a team. Well, what if Luis and Sepito Muerto want to play, or someone else wants to play? It's like, I would love to have a way so that we can we can do like mini tournaments where we do arenas and, first team to beat 3 teams wins or something like that. Just an ability to create a lobby would vastly improve the replayability. Not to say that it already lacks replayability, but I think being able to bring in more friends to play at the same time would be a win in my books.
100%. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And to be fair, EA owns them. I know it's gonna take a little bit more resources, but they have made over $1 billion in microtransactions, so I think they can afford it.
And just on this game alone, we're not even talking about their other things like in FIFA and all that. So it's like they have the money,
Yeah, we're not accountants, but we're pretty much certain that they're making bank off of these things, and like, why not put some more resources to help us out a little bit more? I mean, yeah. There is something that I do want to mention too. Network connectivity wise, I guess. It's the hackers, man. There are hackers.
Oh boy.
Unfortunately, there are hackers in Apex Legends. I have not come across many. If I have seen them, some people have lasered me on the map. I'm just like, oh my god. Not very many, thankfully. I've seen more people aimbodying in Call of Duty. However, that to be said, there are rampant DDoS attacks happening on Apex. Lots of people getting wrecked, like online with their internets. JohnnyBoi here has a story. If you don't mind telling us what happened, because that's a very interesting one.
I was playing by myself, like loaded up with a team with 2 other players that we weren't talking. It was just basically the ping system. Made it to the top 3. We each had like 3 kills each in the team, so we're playing well. There were only 2 teams left, and then my teammates go AFK. They stop moving.
No.
The other team goes AFK, also stops moving, dies from the ring. Then the last team finds us and then just comes and blasts us. Blasts me actually, because my team was disconnected. So yeah, it's too much of a coincidence to not have been a DDoS.
That's exactly right.
By that team.
That's exactly right. And the only reason why you may have gotten out the DDoS attack, honestly, is probably because like your location to like the server or something like that. You just got like really lucky with your ping or something and got them out, but not you. But that's crazy. That's crazy that happened, dude. Like, what? Come on. Like, all right, man. Like, if you're gonna be hacking, like, can we just have like dedicated servers for people to hack? So it's just like these aimbot nasty servers for people teleporting and aimbotting each other. That would be honestly really cool to watch. But like, I mean, in the game itself, like, man, come on, there's people who are just like they're just trying to like have fun and learn the game. Like they don't need to be like lasered across the map by a P2020.
And again, I'm in pubs, like, so why are you doing this in pubs? We're just trying to have fun.
Yeah, I mean, the hacker might be like, oh, I'm trying to have fun too, but like, come on, please, like.
I mean, this is something that every game I think suffers from, especially popular games.
Exactly.
Like, from your Fortnite to your Call of Duties to your Battlefields, like you're always going to have hackers. And I do appreciate the fact that a lot of companies do their best to really punish hackers and cheaters overall. And so, the more we can get hackers away from our games, the better, and let's just keep it clean, like we're all here to play games and have fun. Like what's the point of hacking? Like,
Yeah.
anyway.
There's an interesting idea going around that Apex could incorporate to at least get rid of the hackers in ranked, and that's to require the purchase of the battle pass to access the ranked in the season. Which it's like it's kind of expensive, but it's requiring you to either put in-game currency that you've played time to earn, or it's requiring you to put actual money down to buy the battle pass. At least that way, the hacker has to spend money and have to be like, well, do you want to waste money every time you get caught to make a new account to come back in, right? So that would be an interesting fix. It's something that's being floated around, but props to Respawn though for actively trying to figure this out. And sad to say that this is happening to their Titanfall community as well, but they're trying to figure it out. Like they care. They're not just going to be like, whatever, like to me it kind of feels like Call of Duty was like, whatever. And we know there's aimbotters, but like Apex cares.
Yeah. Apex cares.
Apex cares.
All right. Well, I think we've talked enough about the game. I think anyone listening, to all our listeners, I think this will give you a good idea of what the game's about. So why don't we just give it our rating, guys? So we'll start with Master Rein, then I'll give it a rating, and then JohnnyBoi can give us his final verdict of the game. So, Master Rein.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as a new player to the game, somebody who started in the end of season 8, I think, and I feel like this game deserves a 9 out of 10 because the developers are obviously listening to the community. They're very aware of what the game is, and they have created a very awesome balanced battle royale and arenas mode that is tons of fun. And even if you lose, it's tons of fun because you know why you lost for the most part, without the hackers. But you know why you lost. You know what you can do differently. You know how to improve, and there's always room for growth. And that is a very, very interesting battle royale, and one that I personally want to get good at.
Nice. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. And the reason I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 is mostly for the modes. Like, I understand this is a free game, but with the amount of potential this game has, I really feel like having like a way to create lobbies, or even having like a different mode, just having like a little bit of variety can just make this game a 10 out of 10. I think as a battle royale, it's one of the best in the business. It's one of the most balanced, one of the most fun. The maps are fantastic. I mean, I keep coming back to it, obviously thanks to my friends here, but it's because it just plays well. It feels good. Like, as a shooter, I haven't felt a shooter this sleek and solid since, Halo, really. And I mean, Master Rein and I have been playing a lot of like Halo online, and man, it's just mouse and keyboard, Halo, perfection. Anyway, but yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. It's a solid game. It's free, so there's no excuse for you not to at least try it. So yeah, 8 out of 10. JohnnyBoi, what about you? What's your final rating for Apex Legends?
I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. It's a great game. It's actually definitely made me better at shooters in general. Because I have played other shooters between when I'm not playing Apex, and I just feel like a better player. But solid gameplay, graphics are good. Mechanics, love the mechanics. It's one of the things that keeps me going back into this game. So a solid 9 out of 10.
Nice. No, I think as you can all tell, overall the game's good. It's definitely in our good ratings, and Now, the more I think of it, it's like our past few reviews have been pretty good. So I think we need to find
They have.
we need to find a really shitty multiplayer game to play. And
I think what's happening is that we're not giving the crappier games the time of day.
yeah, seriously.
Oh my
Seriously,
god,
so-
no, but I've been thinking the same
If you
thing.
want me
But
to
I
talk
mean, but we're
trash
definitely
about-
talking about games that, like, as multiplayer people, if you're interested in multiplayer, like, you should check these games out. Like, they're fun.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a review of Phasmophobia in the future, but I can't promise you that because I don't know how long I can take of that game. Like, there's only so much I can play.
40 minutes of Phasmophobia is a lot.
We can just talk trash about
Right?
Anthem
Like,
later on.
we tried it out. If you guys saw the stream, like, we've tried it out, so it's like we're definitely gonna give it a go. But anyway, thank you so much, Johnny. Like, we really appreciate you being here, and hopefully we'll get you on another pod. But if for all our listeners, if you want to hear more about JohnnyBoi, just whenever we play Apex, 99% of the time it's gonna be with JohnnyBoi. Actually, most of the games we play, JohnnyBoi's probably going to be in there. So yeah, you'll get more of our bro on our streams and on future podcasts.
Yeah, and if I'm not on, I'll be on the Twitch chat.
Heck
chat.
yeah,
Exactly.
my man.
Catch me
And
there.
speaking of, like, for everyone, really soon we're gonna release our Discord server. So we're still trying to figure out the rules and the channels and the voice chat. Yeah, because, I mean, we want a space for everyone to come and, like, play together and play with us, But we also understand, too, that, like, we want a community that respects each other's privacy and space. And, if we all going to join the Discord, we want it to be a place where people can just come and play. So it's like, if you're, like, playing Halo, for example, and you kind of want to, like, squad up, then our Discord server would be a great place to, like, squad up. Because, again, our podcast and our channel is all about multiplayer games and co-op. So the Discord will hopefully be like a hub for you to find someone to play a co-op game with you, either The Forest or A Way Out or something of that nature, And then that way we can all just play games together and, make more friends. Because, to be honest, 99% of our friends we made through video games.
Yeah, pretty much.
And playing video games specifically. So
And shout out to some of our friends who have joined recently. Shout out to Winter Warmness, Mr. Yoro, Raj Miraj, Chala Chow, Blue Gamer 25, Saminda, Christopher Lim, Murasamel, Cross Criminal, DVA Mechanics. We're thinking about all of you. We're trying to create this so that we can all find some games and all get together and game sometime.
man, the Revive Me army is growing. I love it.
Growing stronger every day.
Yep.
Special shout out to the friend that we made yesterday.
King
Was it King
Bangalore! Special shout out to King Bangalore. That was an amazing round that we had with King Bangalore. It was an arena round. We did well. He was crushing, and he was talking to us, and we were talking back, and it was like instant friendship. And so, yeah, shout out to King Bangalore. You are like, he was the 61st best Bangalore in the game. That's what he was.
Nice.
We were like, damn.
also, shout out to Callum for joining me on the Half-Life Opposing Force streams. Thank you so much.
Callum.
Yep, Callum, one of our first bros to join the army. So, just a shout out to our friend there, and it's always a pleasure to see you online, my man. That's it for today's episode, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and remember to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok. We're everywhere, people. We are literally everywhere. In regards to our podcast, we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, and YouTube. We will be just like a few days after we post on our podcast sites, we will post on YouTube. So remember to leave us a comment, please, and rate us, please. And we are looking forward to our next review episode or philosophy episode. We actually have a few ideas of what we want to do in regards to the podcast. So we'll keep a lookout. Let us know what you think and send requests, guys. Games that you guys want to see us play, maybe review. Like we're all ears. We're here for everyone. So this is Silly, Master Rein, and Johnny signing out.
And everybody, if you're a lifeline, please go revive your teammates before they die. Please.
Johnny, anything you want to say?
No, just revive me. If you are the lifeline.
Revive me, bro!
There's that famous clip of the guy screaming through the mic for that lifeline to revive him.
Lifeline! Lifeline! Lifeline!
Sometimes it is like that. So please revive your teammates if you have the chance.
You heard it from Johnny. Revive your teammates before you die. Peace.
Peace, everybody.